Title of this presentation is, What is the real reason you go to school? I'm happy you decided to take the time to hear my thoughts on why you go to school. This presentation is divided into 4 parts. It is presented with high school students in mind, but college-age individuals and anyone trying to improve their life should find it thought-provoking. So why am I here? Word is that many high school students do not take school seriously. And one of the reasons is they do not know why they are in school. Knowing the why of something is super important in anything that we do. That is what this presentation will provide to you. And once you hear the why, I hope you will be able to be more successful now and later in life. So why does a person go to school? That's the big question we're talking about today. It's not because your parents make you. The reason you go to school is to be successful. What is the secret of success? I believe that if you asked a successful person that question, many would not know the real answer. I'm not saying they won't give you an answer, but what they say will not be correct to a point. Also, I am sure they are successful because you are using the secret, but they have never associated it directly with their success. Each of the 4 parts of this presentation will have a special word and a special thought to help you connect with the subject matter. Part 1 is called Wear and Tear on Your Body. When you were young and able to do many physical things easily, I doubt that you give much thought to taking care of your physical self. However, there will come a time in your life when that changes. The type of job or jobs you have had will influence your physical well-being. I'm going to break down the types of jobs into 3 types for purposes of this presentation. Since everyone is different, I am sure there are exceptions to what I'm going to tell you. The word for part 1 is critical thinking. It has been suggested that critical thinking is becoming a lost art. So what is it? Critical thinking is not taking someone else's word on a topic without investigating the topic and drawing your own conclusion based on your analysis. Social media spews out opinions on everything, and many people buy into it without verifying it. I'm suggesting you verify everything. The reason many of us do not use critical thinking is because we're lazy. Now, with today's technology, I believe that it's very easy to look and research things, but we're all lazy. I'm lazy. But critical thinking is a very important aspect of not getting involved with the wrong thinking. The thought for part 1 is, if you cannot use your brain, then you'll have to use your back. Any honest job that you may have in your life is worthwhile, but highly physical jobs will take a toll on your body. Education will allow you to get a job that is less physical and will likely pay more. So for purposes of this presentation, I'm dividing the jobs into 3 types. Manual jobs, which you have no need for education. It's just that you're there to do whatever they need you to do, and you're using your back. Manual mental jobs, a person that has a mixture of things that they have trained for and they know about from learning, and part of it involves manual things. Mental manual jobs, there's a couple of kinds. The first one, there's the auto mechanic, who obviously has to work on heavy things, but he has to have a lot of brain knowledge to be able to do that. Now, the garbage man is also a mental manual job. You may not think that, but the garbage man has to understand how to drive the garbage truck, how to use all the equipment on the garbage truck. And that takes straight training. So again, the garbage man has skills. And a mental job is like a desk job. You really don't go out and use your physical body to do your work. I was a chemical engineer. I had an office and a desk and a computer, and I did go out into the plant where work was being done, but I did not do any of the work. I was just doing my job to help improve the operation. Okay, but the first thing we want to talk about in these parts of what is the outcome in education, a manual person is likely to have had poor grades in high school and maybe quit high school because they didn't like it. But later on they decided they needed something more to get a better job, so they got a GED. Now, a mental manual person, their high school grades were okay, but not a real serious student. So they go to trade school, which is great. Or they get trained on the job, which is great. A mental person probably had high grades in high school. They took a strong curriculum in preparation for more education, and they went to a community college or a 4-year college or more. Income. A manual person, relatively low pay. And sometimes people have to work 2 jobs just to make ends meet. And they have no savings. A mental manual job is reasonable to pay. They're a middle class family. They own a home while they're buying a home. And they have a small savings. And a person with a mental job is on a salary. They have higher pay, own a larger home. They have 2 cars. They go on vacations, and they have savings. What kind of work? A manual job, usually physical, often dangerous, often dirty, often boring, and out in the weather. Have you ever seen the person along the road that has a sign that says stop and go? They stand there for 8 hours turning this sign around in the heat or the rain or whatever it is. That's a manual job. But even a more serious situation occurred in my life recently, where I heard from a friend of mine that their nephew was a roofer and they had fallen off the roof. The injuries were very serious. They ended up in the hospital and had to rehab. So they had no income during that time, and they had no insurance. So it was a real bad situation. A mental manual job has some physical, but moderate. And a mental job is not usually physical and is often office work. Work stability. A manual job, often they change jobs frequently. And when they have nothing to offer but their back, so when they try to get a new job, it's hard. The mental manual people, they're more valuable to their employee because they have skills. And if they do lose their job, these skills are usually transferable. And a mental job is a stable employment because you have valuable skills and you may even be in management. Work hours. Manuals work long hours, especially with 2 jobs. And you're at the mercy of the job. You don't show up, you don't get paid. Mental manual is steady work. It can be often shift work, but you're all controlled by the job. You have to be there, at the times they need you. And a mental job is often daylight, usually daylight. They have some control. They can work from home. And if they need to take off for a dental appointment, it's not usually an issue. Lifestyle, manual, could be full of drama. I'm saying it's full of drama because if you have low income, there's always stress about paying bills and other things. And your jobs are not always steady. So all these things create drama in a life. The manual person usually rents, and they may move frequently. They may or may not be married, but they might have a family. A manual mental person is middle class. They own or are paying for a home. They can eat out. they have some money for extras. And a mental job is usually upper middle class, large, newer home. They have travels and they have many extras. Car. The manual worker has an old and not very pretty car, and often they have no car, or the car's in the shop. A manual mental person has a used but nice car, maybe two cars, or maybe even a truck. And a mental person has two cars, usually newer, and then maybe they have a boat. Vacation. The manual worker has no vacation because if they aren't working, they're not getting paid. A manual mental person usually has a vacation, but not expensive. And a mental person would have a vacation with travel, nice hotels, cruises, maybe even own an RV. Health. A manual job can be compromised, affected by the work. They can't afford health insurance, and they don't offer health insurance by their employer. They have no dental or vision care, and so they would use free clinics for a lot of stuff they need. And they have to take off work to go to the clinic, so they lose money. A mental manual person has less compromised health. The company provides insurance, and sometimes even dental and vision insurance. Mental person has a better company provided insurance, has dental and vision, and likely belongs to a gym. So, your future health is affected by the physicality of your job. Let's go back to critical thinking now. Do you believe what I presented is true? Could what I just presented be valuable to you? If yes, how might it motivate you to change your actions? If the answer is no, I'll suggest you investigate how education or lack thereof can make your life successful. So how do you get a job that will not wear your body out? There's education, there's training and developing skills. In part 1, we discussed wear and tear. This is a physical discussion because if you have a job that you have to use your back, your body is going to wear out. And in your later life, you're going to have issues because of that. So I'm suggesting in this that you be motivated to get education. Whatever you want. It hasn't got to be college. It hasn't got to be any particular thing. But if you're educated, you can use your brain to get yourself a better job and a job with less wear and tear. This is the end of part 1. So now I would suggest that you take a break, pause the video, and have a discussion among all those who are in the room. Let's just take a minute to think about what I presented and then resume the video.